You're listening to the Clutter Fairy Weekly, a weekly webcast and podcast brought to you by the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas. If you'd like to participate in one of our live webcasts, please visit cfhou.com/weekly. You'll find a calendar of upcoming webcasts, as well as instructions for joining the Zoom meeting via the app or by phone. We'd love to see you. That URL again is cfhou.com/weekly. Now here's the weekly episode. Enjoy.
Hi, Clutter Fairy fans. This is the Clutter Fairy Weekly for September 9th, 2025. I'm your co-host, Ed Gumnick, and I'm speaking with Gayle Goddard, certified professional organizer and owner of the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas.
Hi, everybody. The Clutter Fairy Weekly is the webcast and podcast that digs deep into the clutter that piles up between you and the life you want to be living. We explore the habits and behaviors that lead to clutter, and we suggest strategies to slow the accumulation, reduce the collection, and comfortably manage the stuff we decide to keep.
If you're new to our Zoom meeting, we want to let you know that you can share your comments and questions via the chat feature, and I'll try to make sure Gayle addresses them before we move on to another topic. You can also use the raise hand feature if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment yourself via audio or video. And we are streaming the webcast live on Facebook, so you can share your questions and comments there, and I'll relay them to Gayle. We're going to start by recapping last week's weekly tittle, which was called Strive for Balance. The assignment was to seek balance between making progress on your decluttering and making sure that your creative spirit is well fed. Let's hear from our participants in Zoom and on Facebook. Who tried the balancing act we suggested last week? Please let us know in the comments. Podcast listener Introvert22 shared a comment on last week's video on YouTube. Introvert writes, I just finished listening to the podcast. I was interested because I'm a paper crafter, as in making greeting cards for family and friends. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to realize that YouTube crafters push products to buy. I enjoy watching paper crafters show new products and techniques, but finally realized that I can't buy everything. I have pared down my supplies over the years and continue to do so. My craft room has improved, and I have focused on using my space well, taking away things that I don't use, and organizing the rest to be able to find things. I use lots of labels and made a list of things I don't need to buy on my phone. I have enjoyed your work for many years.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Crafting channels are definitely trying to make money, and they get free product or commissions or ad revenue from sponsors to show how to use the sponsors' products. It's friendly marketing. You're just watching somebody doing a technique show, and conveniently they're showing all these products that you have to do the technique. And they do it for fun and for access to the sponsors' products for free and a revenue stream, and they're entitled. It's a lot of work to generate content for a channel, as Ed and I know very well. But you need to remember that stoking your interest in buying is the whole point of a supplier sponsoring a channel like that. But you don't have to buy. You can just be entertained and resist the allure of turning that entertainment into shopping. Introvert22 has adapted with reduced buying, an anti-shopping list, which is brilliant, and adding tons of labels to improve how their craft room functions. So it sounds to me like they're making their space much more fun to work in, and good job. They're setting a good example for all you guys in your crafty artist spaces. So excellent job.
I especially like the idea of the anti-shopping list. I think we should probably all have those. Whatever your thing that you tend to accumulate too much of is, you need a list of the things that you are forbidden to buy again.
And every crafter, every artist has that stuff that they gravitate to without a doubt. Like, they go to the same colors over and over. They go to the same beads over and over. They go to the same style over and over. And, the things that you are super attached to. And so, having that list of, I already have 150 tubes of this color bead. I don't need any more of it.
Right.
It's a much shorter list, but it's a good list to keep in mind, so you can look at it and go, yeah, I already have 157 tubes of that bead. I can't buy more of it. It's a good way to cope.
Okay, let's see. Jacqueline says, I made a trip to the scrap metal recycling place. I had two rusty chimenea/fire pits, a broken outdoor umbrella stand, and some small stuff that all together filled up my car. My goal was to responsibly get rid of items that were unusable and taking up space in my garage and yard. As a bonus, they even paid me $5.
Oh, look at that. I
I
mean,
guess that would, I
it's
guess
not
that, oh, because it's a scrap metal place. So
right, right, right. So they're getting something
for
for the metal.
they're going to be able to resell that metal.
It's not a great tip, but at least, you made the effort and somebody gave you something for it. That's awesome.
After last week's discussion on craft supplies, I started looking through my stash and found some craft stuff to get rid of. I also finished a crochet project this week.
Oh, look at you hitting it from two angles. Good job. Getting rid of extra supplies and finishing an UFO. Good for you.
Lisa Beth says, and this is on the topic of the anti-shopping list. I have an inventory list that's basically the same thing.
Right?
Yeah, an
Absolutely.
inventory that you carry
Of what
with
you
you.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
Let's see. May's thing, the thing she can't resist buying. She says, adult coloring books. Don't let me near them.
I'm hoping that you like to color, that's why you buy them because you think it's fun to color. And yeah, so remind yourself when you're getting ready to shop that, the adult coloring books will still be there later and you should use that as impetus to go home and work in one you already have. It's time to go home and color.
And on that same note, M says, I carried swatches of the fabrics and floss I already own.
Oh, there you go. So you have like physical examples with you.
Yeah, a physical inventory.
Okay. That's good.
Niz says,
Whatever helps.
my weakness is home goods. For me, I was going to say it's kitchen. It's kitchen stuff all the way, and so
Mm-hmm.
obviously I can't take the stuff with me, but I should take an inventory because sometimes when you're in the you're in that store and they have a great deal. I like the deeply discounted stuff. You sometimes find great brands, like Cuisinart stuff
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the discount stores,
Yes.
and it's so hard to resist.
It is, and your kitchen isn't that big.
Well, this new kitchen is a whole lot bigger, but we still have every inch of storage
Cool.
filled, even
Right, right,
after
right. Yeah.
a lot of purging during the move-in,
Right. And that just tells you how crammed in you were to the other place.
right?
And now you've like made it go into this kitchen, but you don't have any leftover space. So, yeah, we know that your kitchen is your collection.
I also need an anti-shopping list for the pantry.
Oh, yeah.
Like don't buy any more cans of what do I have way too much of? Oh, well, I have one can of baby corn, and that's all the cans of baby corn I will ever need ever again, really. Okay, Ginger reports I made a first stab at my craft supply closet.
Ooh,
I cleared the floor. It was embarrassingly cluttered with things I didn't want to deal with. Much went to trash. Now I don't need a grab to reach things. A grabber, I guess she means.
oh, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's good. Like, whenever you have a closet and once you start filling up the floor so you can't get to it, you just shut it down as a functional space. And so, perfect place to start. You've been listening to us talk, Ginger, I can tell. And you did a great job. So, dig in another day, do some more work when you feel up to it again. Keep
I,
finding all the things you've been stashing in that closet.
Dawn also gave us a reply on the anti-shopping list. I think we need a survey question about anti-shopping lists. Dawn says, I have forbidden myself from buying scrapbook supplies
Ah,
unless I'm actively making a scrapbook with a theme and need specific stickers or colored paper for that particular project that I don't already have in stock.
right, right, right.
She's not buying anything else new.
That's good. Because if you love a craft and you've been buying for it for a while, you already have a room full of really fabulous, fabulous supplies. They're just waiting for you to play with them. And so, you don't need to add because if you go in your own store, you're going to find some really amazing things in there.
Here's another good tip. Lisa Beth says, in my Facebook pictures, I have pics of each room so I can decide what I want to get rid of before I buy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so when you're standing in the store and looking at the lamp that you've just fallen in love with, You can look through all the rooms in your house and
And
figure
go,
out
where is that going to go and what has to
what
leave?
lamp is this going to replace.
I love that. That's like, she's pre-planning where it's going to land and what and how not to crowd out her space. That's really brilliant. Like, here's the photo reminders of your own house. Look and see. There is no spare space without subtracting in order to receive this item. That's good.
M says, I looked at my fabric and estimated the time it would take to do each project. The number of hours caused me to stop buying fabric cold turkey.
Let's just talk about how many hours are left with all the UFOs you have. I love that. It was a good thing to do. Lots of people have started and stopped and have a collection of UFOs that they don't go back to, and there can be hours and hours and hours of work in there. That's 100% true. Good for you for figuring it out and using that as a motivation. I like it.
Okay, I think we should move on to our main topic.
Okay.
We often endow items that we receive as gifts with a special status in our decluttering decision making. But even gifts become clutter if we don't love, need, or use them. Today, we're going to explore the complex issues of decluttering gifts and offer clutter-conscious approaches to giving, receiving, downsizing, and regifting gifts.
We just passed Labor Day and the official holiday season freight train has begun. In the United States, we put the kids back in school and then we start the chain of holidays. Halloween comes first, then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas or Hanukkah, then New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. After that, we all collapse from exhaustion. I'm bringing it up now kind of early because while all these holidays have a ton of holiday themed decorating associated with them, the big hurrah happens at Christmas when we all lose our minds and buy gifts for everyone. And that means you'll be joining family somewhere and take a bag of gifts to everyone, and then you're going to come home with a bag of gifts from everyone. And the great guilt storm related to gifts begins right when you start unpacking them at your house. Gifts that you've received are a very special kind of emotional storm. You know that people had to think about you and decide what you might like. They have to spend money to get the thing and wrap it and present it to you with excitement. Often the giver feels like they've picked the perfect thing. They think they've thought of the perfect gift that you'll enjoy so much and they're so excited to give it to you. You've been that person deciding what someone will just love and giving it with great enthusiasm. We think we know people well enough to give the perfect gift, and but we also know that sometimes gifts miss the mark. The giver thinks that they know you, and actually they're a little off. Or they buy something that they like, assuming that you'll like it too. Or maybe they just buy everyone something generic to meet their social obligation to buy gifts for a list of people, and their choices are meant to be easy to give to anyone. Think about a bottle of wine or this year's electronic gadget or giving the same book to everyone. Gifts run the emotional gamut from items carefully thought out and lovingly chosen to strategically planned to appeal to many people to no thought at all throw down gifts. Any of those gifts have emotional baggage, the least of which is the cost of the item. You know the range of emotions that go into gifts, and that adds this extra layer of weight to decluttering the gifts after you've received them. So let's check out the first survey question where we asked our audience to think about an item that you received as a gift and have struggled to part with. What factors, your thoughts, feelings, memories, stories, beliefs, make it difficult for you to decide to let this item go? So that was the first question we asked.
Okay, Lynn says, I used to think that people went to the trouble to invest money, materials, time, energy into selecting or making the item they gifted to me. So the least I could do to honor this was to keep it rather than regifting, donating, or tossing it. My house used to be crowded with this kind of stuff, mostly because I thought of the invested thought and consideration I put into my own gifting and how annoyed I would get when the item wasn't used or kept. I have reframed all of that for myself and have been able to more easily let go of gifts that no longer fit into my limits.
I get it. It can be annoying when a gift you tried hard to give, right? It's give it to them exactly what they need and they've given it up. We know how it feels when we try hard but miss the mark. We have to accept that we don't always get it right despite our thought and our effort. And as a recipient of gifts that miss the mark, we also have to accept and respect the effort without tying it to the gift itself. You can appreciate the effort made and the money spent. That's the nature of gift giving after all, but you still do not have to be attached to the result of the effort. Honor the intent, but accept the gift and the ownership that comes with it, and feel free to decide if it can be worked into your life and used by you or not. Lots of gifts exchange hands that end up stuffed in closets somewhere out of guilt. Things you would normally have no problem giving away, but feel stuck on because it was a gift. Your standard love it and use it parameters apply here, even to gifts received, because these gifts have to live in your house too, and they're taking up space and storage in your house. They still have to deserve to take up a space in your house under normal criteria, not just because they're a gift. And that is a mental shift that it sounds like she has already made, Lynn has already made.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's one to aim for. If you feel burdened by gifts and you feel guilty about gifts and you feel distressed about them, I think that mental shift is important to make. You can honor the thought, you can honor the care, you can be thankful for the person's effort to give it to you, but you don't have to tie that honor to the actual gift itself. The gift still has to make it through. Does this fit in your house? Does it work for you? Is it reasonable for it to take up space?
I want to I want to cover the next two together. I'm going to read both of these responses. Allison said, I used to think I had to keep gifts, but one really bad present changed my mind and out it went. A few years ago, a relative gave me something because I admired it in a store. Didn't really want to own the item, but kept it out of a sense of duty.
Mm-hmm.
I donated it several months ago, figuring I'd kept it long enough. It may cause hurt feelings for the relative when they discover it's gone, but I'll deal with that then. And then Leela said, can't let it go because the person who gave it will either ask about it or look for it in my house. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
three. I'm sorry, there were three I wanted to
Yeah.
cover. And Evelyn asked, will the person who gave me the gift find out that I decluttered it? Will they come around and wonder where it is?
So, when you visit your friends and family's homes, do you wander around looking for the gifts you've given them? No, because that would be kind of rude, right? Let's give our friends and our family credit for not worrying about what happened to the knickknack they bought us from their trip to Paris. Now, if you're saying that you're certain this person will look for the gifts they've given, you can plan for that. Maybe keep a few things from that person stored and put them out when that person visits, and then take them back down when they go. You might want to make this effort for a difficult relative like your mother in law or your grandmother, someone who is clearly going to be around for your whole life and maybe isn't worth disturbing the relationship around. And so that might be worth storing some things and taking them out and putting them back. Well, that's a lot of effort. I wouldn't do that for everybody, but maybe some more difficult people that might be important. If not a super difficult relative, then maybe you can sheepishly say at some point that the dog knocked it off the table and it broke and you didn't want to tell them. Maybe you say that you loaned it to a neighbor who's having a party. Oh, that platter, my neighbor down the street is having a party this weekend and they borrowed it. Or we took that to use at the lake house. Or if they won't walk all over your house, so if it's somebody who you know won't be wandering in and out of all of your rooms, are going to stay in the public areas, you can say, oh, we put that in our bedroom. That's in our bedroom. For someone in your life who's keeping tabs on the gifts as if they're loans to you from them, you can just deflect them this way when needed. I think some people don't give gifts with the free love and intent that gifts are intended to be. They feel attached to them. They don't sort of surrender ownership of them. They feel like they're giving you something that they have the right to continue to manage or monitor. And if you have people like that in your life, I think, figuring out a way to comfortably deflect them, diverting their attention, making up a story, you know, giving them an excuse allows you to not keep the item and not create chaos with them. And I think it's worth the effort to figure out what kind of story you can tell around it to explain it besides I gave it away because it doesn't suit me. You can make up a tale. And otherwise, most of your family and friends aren't wandering around looking. They don't remember all the things that they bought. They bought things for you every year. They buy for your birthday, they buy for the holiday. And they don't keep up with it that much. They buy it, they give it, and then they go away and don't think about it too much. So I think the majority of people that give you gifts are going to be in that category. They're going to hope in the moment that you like it, and you can certainly be grateful and tell them you like it regardless of how you feel about it. And then after they're gone and they've moved on to the next thing, you can make a choice about whether it really fits in your life, whether you really would use it, and figure out how much effort you want to do to prove that you love the gift on their behalf, and then still make a choice that honors you and your goals for your space and how you're trying to manage the contents of your space.
I think there's also I think there's also an opportunity here to try to raise the consciousness of people who give you gifts with strings attached,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe without saying anything about stuff they've already given you with strings attached, find a way to say, I'm trying very hard to declutter my home. I have way too much stuff. It's difficult for me to live in my house and keep it clean, and so I really need to cut down on the number of gifts I receive. So thank you, but you know, you either should give me things unconditionally or don't give me things.
Right? Or replace them with something that doesn't have to sit in the house.
Yeah. If you must give me gifts, give me money. Okay, let's go on. Let's see.
Amanda's next.
Thank you. Amanda says, one dear relative used to ask me specifically about certain gifts that she gave me years after the fact. She's gone, but when I look at those things, I think of her stories of why those gifts were so special and should be kept forever. The one item that comes to mind, a baby doll purchased for me in China before I was born, is still in my home, but not displayed respectfully. It's gathering dust in a doll bassinet in my basement.
So that relative told you a tale about why something was important for you to keep, but really it was important to her, not to you. A baby doll that was bought before you were born and you're no longer a child interested in such dolls doesn't really need to be kept anymore. You've honored it all these years. She's gone, and I think your obligation to honor her belief that it was special has now expired. Her declaration of specialness doesn't have to stick to you forever. I appreciate that she thought the gifts were important, but surely honoring something for 40 or 50 years is long enough. You've moved on from them, and the gift can move on from you too. I think it's a lot of burden to place on someone
Hmm.
to give you something and give you the emotional burden of this is so important, it's so special, and you have to keep it forever. Like that's a lot of obligation to lay on someone along with your gift. And if they've kept it all this time since before she was born until now, I think you've given it enough service and it can be moved on to someone who wants to play with the doll because clearly it's not you. And so let it go live with someone else.
Well, and
Enough already.
in your answer to Lynn, in your response to what Lynn said, you talked about, gifts exchange hands and end up stuffed in closets out of guilt.
Yeah.
And Amanda specifically said, it's in my home, but not displayed respectfully. It's gathering dust in my basement.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you honoring something you received as a gift that someone considered special by stuffing it in a closet or in the basement? I,
And clearly you're not, and you
yeah.
already notified, you already told yourself that it's not respectful, it's not respectfully displayed. And so great, that means that you're not into it anymore, and that's okay. You've given it 5 decades. Surely that's enough.
And if the thing is really special, shouldn't it be in the hands of someone who's going to enjoy it now all the
Yeah.
time, not just
Yeah.
when they trip over it when they're trying to clean out the closet,
Right? Like
right?
it doesn't need to burden you anymore. If she's not there anymore anyway, you're saving face by making sure it's there for her to see every time she comes. That is now expired. And your obligation to hold on to the specialness of this item is also expired. I think you've given it plenty of time and you don't have to feel bad about it anymore. And you can let somebody else play with it. And much better that than ignored in the basement because it's not your thing and you're not into it anymore. Release the guilt and release the object. I beg of you. Don't burn yourself about that anymore.
Okay, Danetta says, we received a beautiful crystal liquor carafe for our wedding 43 years ago from my husband's aunts and uncle. We have never used it. My husband couldn't part with it because of the family tie. I solved the problem by putting it on display in his office, so I never have to look at it or have to deal with it.
Until it comes home when he retires.
Well,
But good diversion, Danetta. That was a great solution. Like, fine, get it out of my sight. You can't let go of it. We're putting it in your office, and
oh,
that's where it's going to be.
well, she didn't say whether it was his office, his off-site office or
Oh,
his
maybe his
home
home office.
office.
Maybe that's
But
possible.
at any
Okay.
rate, she says, she never has to look at it or deal with it.
Yeah, it's out of her face. Okay, that's all
Or
right.
I wonder if her husband ever dusts it.
Or even remembers that it's there at this point,
Right,
right?
right, right.
Probably not.
Um,
Uh, uh,
okay.
so let's remember, unless the person that's giving you a gift explicitly tells you that there are strings attached to the gift, it's reasonable and safe to assume that the gift is now your property to deal with exactly as you wish. Generally, the people who give you gifts are family and friends who love you. They want what's best for you and probably don't want you to drown in clutter, even if that means discarding the gift they gave you after some time has passed. Better to offer gift suggestions to those family and friends. Tell them what you really need and can use or would be excited to have. Suggestions take a lot of stress off of the gift givers, particularly recurring gift givers that keep having to come up with a new thing to give you. Also, real conversations about what you would like to receive and why. Anything to give them buying feedback before they actually start shopping. Looking at it from a gift giver's point of view, how can we give clutter friendly gifts and model good behavior for others in our lives? We'll let you set the tone this year from your survey responses.
Okay, our second survey question to our viewers and listeners was, what's your favorite clutter conscious gift to give? For example, gift cards, event tickets, food, drinks, or other consumables, subscriptions, and so on. And why? What's your favorite clutter conscious gift to receive and why? And I think it was Lisa Beth, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Lee's. I'm not sure now, but someone turned it around in the Ask Us Anything section of the survey and wanted to know our favorite clutter conscious gifts to receive. So, Gail, what's yours?
So, I actually love to go to comedy shows. I love tickets to go see somebody famous that does comedy. And they're never cheap. It's $100 a ticket, $150 a ticket, depending on how famous they are. And so I love to have show event tickets. That to me is the best thing. And one year at Christmas, I bought tickets for like five of my friends, and we all went together. A couple weeks before Christmas, we all went together to this show. Ali Wong came through town, and we all went to see
Hmm.
Ali Wong, and she was hilarious, and I loved it. And we all spent the evening together as a group watching the show, and had so much fun. And that to me was, I don't know how they felt about it, but that to me was a great way to spend time with my friends and a great way to spend my money. And we had a good time together, and I have that in my memory. And so that to me is a really great gift.
And my answer, it has to be money. I'm sorry.
Right?
As someone with
Very particular tastes.
particular taste. I was going to say I'm kind of picky. I don't like I there are a lot of things that a lot of people like that I don't, and I'm very minimalist in my ideas about decor. I like things
Mm.
really simple and clean, and so yeah, I generally like to get money because I can use it for whatever is my most immediate want or need. My
Eh,
mom, my mom knew this. My mom figured this out fairly early on, and so the most for most occasions the gift was a check,
Aw.
and she would. We had a joke that we exchanged the same joke every time too. She would say, "I hope I hope that I got the right size and color." And I said, "Well, the color is good, but the size could have been larger."
I love that. I can totally see your mother saying that. And what I like about that is I think the older that we get, the more clear we are what we love and what appeals to
Yeah,
us and what our preferences are. And, when you're 20, you can sort of try anything and take anything. And when you're 60, you've lived all that time and you know what you like and what you don't like. And it's very clear. Your opinions are very sharp. And so I think it gets harder to buy for somebody like that because you really have to know them well to know what their sharp opinions are. And so
yeah,
I think, giving money solves that problem for you, right?
right. Now, I will not turn down gifts of homemade food
Right?
and and books. Truthfully, sometimes people hit and sometimes people miss when they get me a book, but I do appreciate it when people make the effort to find something they think I haven't already read and I will
Right, right,
enjoy.
right.
That's kind
Well,
of
and my
nice.
dad has been publishing an Amazon gift list with books on it for a decade.
Yeah.
And so we just go fish his gift list and look for books. Like he takes them off when they've been bought. And so we go fish the list and they're always there. It's, so he's already curated the library of these are things I might be interested in. And so then we can just buy a few of them. He likes sitting with the actual book in his hand. And so he gets books that he's already picked. And then what happens is he's been building the list for so long, we'll buy something off the list and he'll be like, I forgot that was on there. That I put that on there 3 years ago. Like he gets surprised anyway because the list is so long. Whatever we buy him, it's who knows how long it's been on the list. So it really works well for him because he likes to read, and so we always end up buying a couple of books off his list. So those are
Well,
my favorites.
let's talk about ideas that came from our survey, especially
Yes,
a few that we hadn't heard before. Allison suggested gas station gift cards.
which is
And
very specific,
I
but
mean,
everybody needs gas.
yeah, and a lot of times a lot of gas stations have the deal where it's 10 cents cheaper if you're
Mm-hmm.
using one of their gift cards. Because
Mm-hmm.
for their purposes, that's like cash.
Right,
They
right,
don't pay any
exactly.
fees. They don't pay any fees to take that money. So yeah, that's a good one, especially with, gas prices being
What they are, and
a little
it'd be
tough.
great for a young adult, right? Somebody that's on their own, but they're still young and struggling to pay bills. And if you give them money so they always have gas in their car, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be clutter because it can just stay in the glove compartment till you're
Right?
ready to whip it out. Ginger says your father's for Father's Day one year, I didn't want to give dad a gift card or some thoughtless gift. He had 8 children and already had everything he needed or wanted. I gave him
Mm.
$100 bill folded into a shirt and tie. It was in a little homemade box. He said it was the best shirt and tie he ever received. It fit him perfectly.
Yeah, it was labeled cash folded into origami. So she must have
Yeah, yeah,
origamied the
right.
money into a
Oh yeah, I'm
shape.
sorry, I forgot to read that part. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
origami.
yeah.
She folded it, yeah, origami fashion into a shirt and tie.
Right. I've seen that little folded thing that God only knows how they make that happen. It looks super complicated, but it's very cute. And can you imagine it's a little tiny shirt and tie that big?
I
I love
I
it.
I never got I would have to, outsource the folding.
Right.
I never got much
That
farther than yeah,
proficient.
farther than paper cranes,
Right.
and
Yeah.
let's see.
It's cute though.
Sunny suggested giving a cocktail recipe and ingredients. She
Mm.
says, for people on my list who drink, I put together ingredients for a cocktail with the recipe. For example, for sangria, I will use a wrapped box with no lid, flaps removed, use shredded paper, and arrange red wine, triple sec, club soda, and an orange, apple, and lemon.
Oh, that's fun. So you sort of give people, here, try this cocktail, and you give them the stuff to play with. I love it.
Yeah.
Especially at gift giving time, at the holidays in particular, when people are dropping by, you're going to see people, there's stuff going on. There'll be occasions where whipping out the sangria and making it will be great for your party. So that's cool. Love it.
The Mags says, I love to give experiences such as money for a trip or restaurant gift card. I try not to give things that would just collect dust.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good idea. And the trick about the restaurant gift card is you need to know what kind of food they like or find out what their favorite restaurant is. Almost any restaurant's going to have some kind of gift card. And so the only real effort you need to make is what's your favorite place to eat that you think is too expensive or too, you can't go often enough because of your budget or whatever, and add into their ability to go to that favorite restaurant.
Becky says, I like to take people to dinner or lunch, my treat. I get to spend time with my family and friends, and nobody has to feel guilty about getting rid of a gift. I like to receive the same gift. Such a joy that I know twice a year that I will get some one-on-one time with a person I care about.
I love that because you're saying it's my treat, you're honoring their birthday or you're honoring the holiday and you get to spend time with them and you have asked for the same in return. And so you're sort of building in your social life to your gift giving, which I think is great. And, at our age, it's more fun to go hang out with people than it is to get another thing to put on the wall. You don't really need to add stuff. Everybody just wants the time and attention with their friends and their family, and that's wonderful.
Noreen says, my favorite gift to receive would be a gift card or hobby related gift.
It's hard to buy things for somebody's hobby without instructions. They likely have all the easy things that you could get already. They beat you to the punch of buying it. As you know, any hobby or crafter knows that they shop for themselves on the regular. So it'd be hard for you to get something. Better to get a gift card from their favorite hobby or craft store. Even an online store will likely have a gift card or a certificate option. Nothing more fun for a crafter or any kind of hobbyist shopping to go to their favorite store with your card. They'll likely buy something they've always wanted but have been unwilling to spend the money on, and your gift gives them the guilt-free way to have something they really want. So they're going to have things in mind when they take your little card of money and go to XYZ store and get exactly what they want, and then they can go, look what I got with your money. They'll be super excited. So that's the best way to make a crafter happy, is to give them cash to spend where they wish at their favorite place.
Well, and even for someone who's new to their craft or art form, a gift card to your favorite and most trusted outlet
Mm,
can be kind of, an introduction
a
and
fun
an
experiment.
educational experience. My sister, when I was just getting into drawing a few years ago, my sister, who's been an active artist for a lot longer, gave
Yeah.
me for my birthday a gift certificate to, oh, I can't remember the name of the place now. Oh my gosh, it's gone right out of my head. But it was an online resource for art and craft supplies with which I was completely unfamiliar.
Oh,
And
cool.
very, good competitive prices. I'll think of it and mention it
Later.
mention it
All
later.
right.
Yeah.
We are not sponsored by this vendor.
No, right?
I have to, as an aside, I just unpacked
Uh-huh.
my turquoise and orange cat she made, that we bought at the store. We bought it when we were up there. I was there, and we went through
Oh,
a shop,
di
and
different sister, but yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Beth. Yes,
something
yes,
of
yes,
Beth's. This
Beth.
was
Oh,
from
yeah, yeah.
Anne,
Oh,
but
I thought you
yeah.
were talking about Beth. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I just this weekend unpacked Beth's turquoise and orange cat that we bought in that little local store when we were walking around Chattanooga.
Yeah,
And I came home with it, having paid for it. And she was like, "You didn't have to buy one." I was like, "But it's so cute. I have to have it." Just
right.
came out again. I love her
Um,
stuff.
okay, I do want to address a counterpoint survey
Okay.
response. An anonymous
Okay.
respondent said, I hate gift cards. I have thrown away at least $1,000 worth of gift cards over the year because they either expired or were for places I don't use. I accompany a gift of cash with a nice personalized letter. The problem that many gift givers have is that they give gifts they would like to receive, and it may not be what the recipient would like.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a store they like, they either have to spend additional money of their own or leave money on the card. It's a scam smart businesses came up with so people would think it was a personalized gift. Sorry, that is a sore spot with me.
Okay. All right. Well, and you figured out your workaround, right? You write a personalized letter and you give them cash. That's perfect. Um, I don't have the same feeling about gift cards. I don't find that they make me crazy, and I work very hard to spend all the money because it's actual cash and it doesn't
Right?
really expire usually, and I want to make use of it. So I try to bake those trips in, plan to go to that restaurant. I make a special trip to use the gift card up because I would like to burn it. Like I like to feel like it's been used. That's to me, that's like scratching an item off the to-do list. When I use the gift card up to zero, that makes me feel like I've scratched an item off the list. So I,
Well,
I get a little fun out of figuring out how to use it.
a lot of places have a lot of uh, political entities have outlawed expiring gift cards or
Mm-hmm,
have
mm-hmm.
or there used to be a thing where gift cards would sort of they
Oh,
would sort of
diminish over time.
diminish
Yeah.
yeah they would
Mm-hmm.
cut they would lose a little value every year, and a lot of places have outlawed that, but not all of them. Probably not, since we have people listening all over the world. I'm sure there are places where the gift card scams are still going on, but I do think, though, if you're going to give gift cards, you have to, at the very least, make sure that you're not giving a gift card someone will refuse to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah. Gather a little data. You need a little intel.
do some fact finding.
Right?
Ask
Ask the spouse,
the
ask the
a
parent,
partner, or yeah, a parent, or
ask a
someone
friend.
in the know, would
Yeah,
so and
yeah, yeah.
so use, like, if you give me an Amazon gift card, well, I mean, you've already spent the money, so I'm probably not gonna turn it down, but I don't shop at Amazon. I won't shop at Amazon. So don't anybody get me Amazon gift cards, okay?
But you can go buy books with an Amazon gift card at least. That was their original product back in the day was books.
Yeah, but I'll feel bad about it.
Okay.
Okay, Lori says that what she likes to get is dinner out or gift cards, an invitation to a trip, or a regular event. That gift represents a friend being present and thinking of me.
So Lori wants the gift of time from her friends and family, an offer for dinner, to be included in on a trip, to go to a show, and she's happy. I like that idea a lot. Just like I want you to invite me to go with you to do something so that we can spend time together. And so, you know what? That works. And if she's telling her friends that, I want to go out to dinner. I want to go with you to the movie. I want to go, we're making a day trip to see the Bluebonnets, whatever whatever you want to plan and include me in, that's what she wants to do. And I like that idea. And that's something that you can be very clear about. I want to be included I want an invitation to do something with you. That's what I want for a gift. And I love it that she specifies that to her family.
Okay, let's see.
Danetta's next.
Yeah, Danetta says, I like to give zoo memberships, state park memberships, rock climbing memberships to families with kids. I like to give nursery plants or gift certificates to my brother who's an avid gardener. I give restaurant gift certificates or food to others. My favorite coffee, mustard, olive oil, etc.
There you go. Everybody can use olive oil.
Right?
Most people like coffee. And truthfully, if you have a friend that isn't into coffee, you probably already know that about them, right? Like, it's someone that doesn't like coffee. It makes it very clear all the time that they don't like coffee. Don't give me coffee. I don't care about coffee. So, you can work that around. I like it, Danetta. Those are good ideas.
Numerous people mentioned chocolate in their survey
Right, right, right.
responses, and that's a
You're the only
choc.
chocolate person you're the only non-chocolate person I know, frankly.
No, I'm a chocolate person.
You used to tell me you didn't like chocolate.
No, 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 I love chocolate. No.
Oh, my
Yeah.
mistake.
No, I was going to say, I think chocolate is a great gift if, unless you happen to know one of the two people on the planet who don't like chocolate.
Right? But they make so many great flavors now, right? Like you can buy stuff with chili in them and pepper and sea salt and berries, and they go nuts with the chocolate nowadays, and it's worth it to buy some fancy expensive ones just to see how fabulous the tastes are.
Here's another one I really like. Lynette said flowers that can be thrown away once they die, usually in unique vases that can be repurposed, recycled, or donated. My favorite gift to receive is flowers in a vase I originally gave to someone else.
Oh, so you get the vase back. I love
Yes, that's really cool.
that.
Well,
Right.
and I used to feel like flowers were, a silly gift because they die and you have to throw them away. But I think my attitude about that has changed over the
It
years. And it's
makes
like,
them
well, look,
consumables,
it's something you can enjoy for a moment, and then
right?
and then not have to feel any guilt about throwing it away,
When
or
it's dead, you can throw it away.
put it in your compost pile if you've got one.
Take a picture while it's alive and then throw it away when it's dead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, Gabriella says, I ask my friends what's currently on their wish list in order to give them something they would truly like and use. Sometimes we go shopping for it together, which adds to the fun.
Gabriella is seeking advice on giving to her friends, and that's excellent behavior modeling too. Combined with shopping together, and it's fun for everybody. And you're not a little kid anymore. It doesn't have to be a crazy surprise. If you want something and your friend wants to take you shopping for it, and so you get the fun of shopping for it together and the enthusiasm of I got exactly what I wanted and they pay for it, and that's your gift. Like it doesn't have to be a surprise. How much more fun for an adult for it to be a event that you do together to procure the gift. And so I really like that idea.
Okay, I want to share a few comments
Okay.
that we've gotten. Terry says, many years ago, my younger adult brother gave me an oversized outdoor thermometer as a gift for Christmas. It didn't really work for me, but it was, sorry, but I kept it because it came from him.
Mm.
Many years later, we were sitting around chatting, and he told the story of how one Christmas he ran into the hardware store right before it closed and grabbed all his Christmas gifts in 10 minutes. Made me laugh, and the thermometer moved on. It's That's great. That's
I
such a
love
great
that.
story because,
Right?
like sometimes you just sometimes the strings that are on the gifts that we receive from people are just in our heads.
They're imaginary, 100%, right? Yeah, I have a relative who comes to the Christmas gathering with bags of like deli boards, like wine and cheese boards that are, like snacks. And clearly he went into the Specs liquor store and bought
Right.
a collection of
A bunch of
prepackaged gifts. And then he just, gives them out. It's like, yeah, you didn't really need to do that.
yeah.
We're okay without your nuts and cheese. It's all right. And he's doing that because he feels obligated to do it, but it's like you don't have to do that. And certainly if you're giving the same gift to all of us and we're all staying in the same house, like we can't possibly eat it all because since we're all staying together and like we can't all eat that much cheese and nuts and crackers. Like anyway, I think it's funny, and it's kind of like, I have an obligation. I don't know what to do about it. This is a throwdown solution. That's what I meant by throwdown gifts that work for anybody. Like, every time you go shopping in a department store at Christmas time, there's always tables in the middle of the aisles with basically generic gifts that work for everybody. And here's like the girls' table and the guys' table. And it's exactly for that reason, because you think you have to have a gift and you don't know what to get the person, you're out of ideas, and they're trying to get you to impulse buy things that you think will solve the problem. And it's like, yeah, those gifts always end up in the closet. Always end
Um,
up in the closet.
Andrea says, this was a comment she made when we were talking about what to say to the people who come looking for
Mm-hmm,
gifts they've given
mm-hmm,
you.
mm-hmm.
Andrea says, this is hysterical. Gayle is offering creative fibs you can tell people who are looking for stuff they gifted you that you got rid of.
Right?
But, and truthfully, I don't like to lie to people
Right?
if
We
I can
don't. We don't.
possibly avoid
We
it.
can get away with it.
So, but M has a great suggestion. M says, if you donated the gift, you can honestly say, I don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. That's true. Not alike specifically. And I'm not saying that you should do that all the time. I'm saying that for people that
Yeah, that
that come
special
to you with gifts
circumstance. Yeah.
who they can't release their ownership of it. Like it's a gift with a string instead of an actual gift. Given with the I'm giving it to you, but because I've spent money, I'm keeping tabs on it to make sure that you are managing what I gave you correctly. Like that's not really a gift. That's a loan. That's a loan to you of their stuff. And so I think, it's yes, I'm giving you fibs. I'm giving you gentle fibs to help you get out of the situation of being trapped by a relative or friend who keeps tabs on their gifts when they really shouldn't. And their inappropriate gift giving is being met with gentle fibs. That's what's happening.
Connie says, if I ever give a non-consumable gift, I will tell the person they can pass it on if they cannot use it. I honestly don't mind. That's
That's
terrific.
kind.
We can't do anything about the strings that other people attach, but we can consciously cut the strings when we give things to people. I think
100%.
that's very, that's very spiritually generous. You
Right?
know,
Like
that's
if it doesn't work for you, let's enrich somebody else. I'm okay with you moving it along.
well, and I mean, that's really so much more in the spirit of gift giving
Yeah.
than the tied up in strings gift, I
Right?
think.
100%. And it's part of your gift giving if you give them the gift of no guilt. Like here's my gift. I hope you like it, but if you can't use it, feel free to give it along. If you give them front loaded permission to move it on to the next thing, you're cutting them off from the guilt of holding on to the gift from you. And then that's a nice release that you can give somebody emotionally by helping them, telling them, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. If it's not for you, move it along. That's
Okay.
kind.
Um, let's go back to I know you had a few more thoughts on the topic, and then we'll get to our closing announcements and
Uh,
more comments if we have time.
okay. The truth is that you're trying to make a point that people you're gifting are important to you. And you want to show them that they're important to you by giving them gifts. And you can make that point in so many ways besides standard gifts. Lastly, I just want to circle back to the original question for today, which is how to make room for the next round of gifts that are coming your way. You're allowed to clear out things that no longer serve you, even if it was a gift. You can make a bit of extra effort to graciously regift something you once received. And by that I mean when you give away something you received as a gift, you can give it to someone who's expressed an eagerness to have it. You can give it to a person or an organization that's in great need, like a women's shelter. You can create a ritual to express gratitude to the person who gave it to you, whether you express that gratitude out loud or just in your own thoughts. You can take a picture of the item before you send it on as a way to remember the gift to the person instead of keeping the actual item. You can let the act of passing on the item to the recipient you support be the final way in which you honor the gift from the person that gave it to you. All of these are me trying to tell you you don't have to feel guilty. It's okay to release. And however you get there is fine by me.
Um, one more comment from Tracy who says, the real support people in my life are happy I'm moving forward with my goals, even if it was a gift from them.
Exactly. Most people that love you and know you don't want you drowning in your house. They're way more happy that you're decluttering than they are that you're giving away a gift. That's my belief anyway.
Okay, let's talk about next week.
Okay?
Sorry, I got to find my place. We are going to be back at the usual time, Tuesday, September 16th at noon US Central Time. And it's time for another Ask Us Anything
Ask us
episode. So
anything.
we've been doing lots of surveys and we have lots and lots of questions that people have asked and short topics people suggested. So we're going to cover some of those next week. One of them is, what do you do with crafts once you have finished them?
Right? What do you do with your output?
Yeah.
Lots of artists have a problem with that.
And then I
So
think
we're going to talk about that a little bit.
And then we're also going to talk about how can we learn to be comfortable in a decluttered space? Because a lot of people find themselves a little uncomfortable when they reach their decluttering and organizing goals. So join us next week for that. We don't have a title yet, but watch your email for an announcement. Okay, Gayle, why don't you give us the title?
This week's title is called Gracious Regifting. This week's assignment is to make space for new incoming gifts by eliminating something that no longer serves you, even if it was a gift. Identify an item you received as a gift that you no longer love or need or use or wish to display. Reflect on possible recipients for the item. Has someone you know expressed a fondness or a desire for the item? Can you think of a person or an organization who could make good use of the item, such as a women's shelter? Do you have a resale or charity shop that you like to patronize? Take a moment to express your gratitude to the person who gave you the gift. You may do this directly if that person is still living, or you can just voice your thankfulness privately, either out loud or in your own thoughts. Before you send the item on, take a picture as a way to memorialize the gift and the giver, and then pass along the item as the final way in which you honor the gift. So I'm hoping that you can go through that process and help yourself release some of the gifts that are still gathering dust around your house, and try to release one and see what it's like, and come back and tell us about it next week.
Okay. I want to share one more comment. This is from Elizabeth, who's with us on Facebook, and I
Hi,
think
Elizabeth.
it's fun to end on a funny note.
Okay.
Elizabeth says, "My husband and his friend and coworker used to buy each other a Christmas gift and eventually started giving each other a $100 bill each year. After about 3 years of that, they decided their gift to each other was letting the other keep his own $100."
And this, the evolution of long-term friendship, and I don't need your $100, you don't need my $100. Let's just be friends, right? I love it. That's awesome.
You can even like schedule your annual phone call where you tell each other, "Yeah, I got your $100 right here."
Thanks. Thanks for that. I
If
like
you're
it.
if you're watching this on YouTube, we would love for you to join us live. To get notifications about upcoming events, we invite you to join the meetup group by visiting cfhou.com/meetup. You can also follow us on Facebook by visiting cfhou.com/Facebook, or join our mailing list by visiting cfhou.com/subscribe. We love to hear from our audience, so please keep your questions, comments, and topic suggestions coming on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere that you find us. You can always reach us through our website at clutterfairyhouston.com.
Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate that you come and listen to us talk every day. I mean, every week. It's fun for us, and we're glad you're here to join us and listen to us, make noise about organizing. We'll be back next week. Great to see you. Bye.
Bye bye.